Today you're going to learn English with the news. We're going to read a news article together. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started.
First, I'll read the headline. iPhone found in perfect condition after plummeting 16,000 feet from plane. So it looks like this is the plane and this is the iPhone. But to understand the connection here, you need to know some of the key vocabulary. So first, let's review plummeting. The verb is to plummet, and this simply means to fall very quickly or suddenly. So you could say the iPhone fell from the plane, but if you say the iPhone plummeted, because it's a verb, so that would be in the past simple. The iPhone plummeted from the plane, it sounds more dramatic. So to plummet. Now you understand that this iPhone fell 16,000 feet and it's in perfect condition, which means it isn't broken, it isn't scratched, it isn't cracked, it's in perfect condition. That's pretty impressive. Now in headlines, they often omit auxiliary verbs or articles that aren't essential to understand the meaning, but they are essential grammatically. So let me fill in the remaining words that were omitted. So first, an iPhone. An because iPhone, I is a vowel, so you use an. iPhone is a singular countable noun. So I would say, I have an iPhone. I wouldn't say, I have iPhone. That's grammatically incorrect. I have an iPhone. An iPhone was found. So the full structure is to be found. To be, and this is conjugated in the past simple. An iPhone was found in perfect condition after plummeting 16,000 feet from a plane. Now notice I chose the article a for plane and iPhone because a means any. We're not talking about a specific iPhone. We're not talking about a specific plane. Yet, in this headline, it's just any. As we continue on, it will turn into a specific iPhone, the one that plummeted. But for the headline, we can simply use a. So now let's continue and find out what happened to this iPhone. An Alaska Airlines flight. So notice here, now we're in the full article and they will use articles, auxiliary verbs because it's required grammatically. For headlines, it's common to omit those, but when you're in the full article, you must include them. An Alaska Airlines flight, so a flight, but now Alaska Airlines gives more information about the flight and our article is next to a vowel, so we need an. An Alaska Airlines flight had to make an emergency landing Friday after part of the fuselage. So the fuselage, this is the main body of an airplane. Part of the fuselage blew out, so it sounds like there was an explosion, sucking several items out of the main cabin. So sucking several items out, it sounds like when there was this explosion, the items were forcefully removed from the plane. So that's the phrasal verb suck out. Sucking several items out of the main cabin. The main cabin is the part of the plane where you would be sitting when you're on a plane. That's the main cabin. I wrote those notes for you.
Before we move on, I'd love to tell you about Pace AI,
an English language learning platform that uses artificial intelligence to help you learn from real-world content, such as news articles, like the one we're reviewing right now. Pace's AI helps you learn 5 times faster by giving you personalized practice and real-time feedback with speaking, vocabulary, grammar, and more, all tailored to your level and needs. The best part is that you can learn from topics that are interesting to you and relevant to the real world. You can choose an existing article from the categories such as business, science, or tech, or you can upload any article online simply by entering the link. And now my article's ready to review. Pace AI has an audio feature so you can hear the content read by a native speaker. This will help you improve both your listening skills and pronunciation at the same time. Plus, you can look up the definition of any word as you're reading, so you're also expanding your vocabulary, you're learning correct sentence structure, and you're improving your reading comprehension. If your native language is Spanish, Japanese, or Mandarin, you can use the translation feature for additional support. You can even get personalized feedback on your pronunciation so you know what areas you need to improve. I love this feature. One of my favorite features is the personalized practice. There are engaging and effective exercises to improve your vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and even spelling. These exercises will help you learn faster and also help you permanently remember everything you learn. And the AI tutor is always available to help you when you have questions or need more personalized support. The AI tutor is available in over 100 languages, so you can get extra support in your native language when needed. I highly recommend Pace AI as an effective and fun way to become fluent in English. And Pace AI is giving all of you a free 7-day trial if you join using my link. Once you've started your trial, you can join my personal class with the class code.
So look in the description for the link to start your free 7-day trial right now. Let's continue with our lesson.
Well, Apple's marketing team is going to have a field day with this one. Of course, Apple is the maker of the iPhone. So let's talk about to have a field day. By saying that Apple's marketing team is going to have a field day, it means they're going to take advantage of an opportunity. Of course, the marketing team is the team that creates the promotions, the advertisements. So how are they going to take advantage of this? Well, they're going to say, this iPhone is so strong, you can drop it out of an airplane and it won't even get cracked. You can definitely have a field day with the story and come up with a lot of creative marketing. So that's what this expression means. On Friday, Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 was traveling from Oregon to California when it had to make an emergency landing after a door plug suddenly ripped off. So ripped off is, we use this a lot. Imagine I have a Band-Aid on my hand. Bandage, Band-Aid is what we call it in North America. So the expression is you should just rip it off. Because if you try to take a Band-Aid off very slowly, it's actually painful, more painful than if you just go like this and you just rip it off. So when you rip something off, it means it comes off very suddenly. So this plug was on the door and then it was suddenly ripped off. So a door plug suddenly ripped off, causing part of the fuselage to blow out. So this is the same verb, to blow out. Previously, we saw it in the past simple, blew out, but now this is just the infinitive. Fuselage to blow out and creating a large gaping hole in the main cabin. Remember, the main cabin is where you sit as a passenger. A gaping hole is a very large hole. So there was absolutely no need to say a large gaping hole because gaping does mean very large. So this large should be deleted, but you need to keep that article because it's a hole and then gaping describes the hole. A hole, a gaping hole in the main cabin. The incident occurred shortly after takeoff. So takeoff, this is the noun form. So the verb is to take off, and this is when the plane leaves the ground. So this is the same thing. It's when the plane leaves the ground, but is just referring to it as a something because it's the noun form after takeoff. So you hear this from the flight attendants. They'll say, keep your seatbelt fastened until after takeoff. So after the plane is fully in the air, you can remove your seatbelt. So this is the noun form and the verb form is to take off. After takeoff, and no one was seriously hurt. Thank goodness, because it sounds quite serious. But several items, including a child's shirt that he was wearing, were sucked out of the Boeing aircraft. So again, we know what suck out. They were forcefully removed. So the child did not throw his shirt out of the plane. It was sucked out. It was forcefully removed from the plane. But keep in mind, this was the shirt the child was wearing. Imagine how terrifying that must have been for the passengers. Thank goodness nobody was seriously hurt. Now notice they say nobody was seriously hurt. So this implies that people were hurt, but their injuries were minor. So maybe someone sprained their arm or have a few cuts on their face, but it's not life-threatening. It's not serious. Now let's take a look at this verb conjugation because we have to be sucked out, and then this is the past simple. But notice that it's were, so it's conjugated with a plural subject. They were sucked out. But if we go back here, we see that the last reference is a child's shirt. So this is a singular. But this were is not being conjugated with a child's shirt. So for the conjugation purposes, you have to delete everything between these dashes. And this verb to be, were, in the past simple, is being conjugated with several items. But several items were sucked out of the Boeing aircraft, and then between the dashes gives more information about the items. So that's a very important grammar note. And to be honest, sometimes even native speakers make mistakes with this and they conjugate the verb with the last noun, which is incorrect. I'll highlight the were for you so you remember items were. Another item that flew from the plane, so here we could say that was sucked out of the plane because it was forcefully removed. So I'll write that for you. And I wrote that because I want you to see the grammar required. We have the verb to be conjugated in the past simple, sucked out, and then you also have the preposition of the plane because here flew from uses different sentence structure. Another item that was sucked out of the plane and plunged. So here, before we have plummeted, which means fell quickly. Plunged is another way of saying to fall quickly. Plunged 16,000 feet. Remember that they're both verbs and they're conjugated in the past simple. And plunged 16,000 feet was a new generation iPhone that was found in pretty stellar condition. Stellar is a casual, informal way of saying very good or excellent. That movie was stellar. That movie was very good. That movie was excellent. The iPhone that was found in pretty stellar condition on an Oregon roadside. According to a social media user, Sean Bates, who said he discovered the device. And if you weren't sure, roadside, it just means the side of the road. So the cars are on the road, but they're usually in the middle. So the roadside is when you take your car and you go to the side of the road. That's the roadside. So he didn't find the phone in the middle of the road. It was on the road side. So not where the cars usually travel, more out of the way. Let's continue. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, remember Twitter is now called X. Do you call it X? I still call it Twitter all the time. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, Bates published a photo of the smartphone, which lacked any scratches or cracks. So if it lacks something, it means it doesn't have it. So it's another way of saying which didn't have any scratches or cracks. The screen was also conveniently unlocked, though it's unclear why. The use of conveniently is quite important here because it suggests that there is some doubt around this. Why was the phone unlocked? People never leave their phones unlocked. Phones are always unlocked. So it was convenient that the phone was unlocked. It was beneficial for the person. But listen to this sentence. Oh, she conveniently forgot to clean the office kitchen. So the fact that she forgot this chore, this task, it was beneficial for her because she didn't have to clean it and maybe someone else cleaned it instead. Oh, how convenient. You forgot to clean it. Oh, how convenient. You forgot your gloves, so now you don't have to clean the kitchen. So we use it in more of a sarcastic way, a way of showing that we don't really trust the situation. We think that something unusual is happening. So it's unusual that the phone was unlocked, is what it suggests. The screen was also conveniently unlocked, though it's unclear why, and showed an emailed Alaska Airlines baggage receipt for a flight from Oregon to California that was sent Thursday. So not only was this phone unlocked, it also happened to have the baggage receipt on it. So that seems perhaps a little suspicious. That's what the article is suggesting, at least. Bates, remember, Bates is the man who found the phone that plunged 16,000 feet from the plane. Bates also published a TikTok about his discovery, in which he says he wanted an excuse to go on a walk when he heard a report about Flight 1282, which included a request for area residents to alert the National Transportation Safety Board. This is simply a government body in charge of transportation safety, if any items from the flight were found. So Bates was at home. He saw this alert from this government body saying, please help us locate any items. So he saw that as an excuse to go on a walk. So in this case, the excuse is the reason why. So let's say he's working and he wanted to go on a walk, but he's working, so he shouldn't. He should work. But then he saw this alert. So now he has an excuse. He has a reason why he should go on a walk. I wrote that for you. Let's continue. I was, of course, a little skeptical at first. Bates says in a video about how he felt upon finding the phone. So if you're skeptical, it means you're not sure if something is true or not. So let's say you see an advertisement that says this product will help you become fluent in 1 hour. Is that true? I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. So you're not sure if something is accurate or true. Skeptical is the adjective, so you need the verb to be skeptical. So here's the verb, and notice it's in the past simple. I was, of course, a little skeptical at first. Bates says in his video about how he felt upon finding the phone. I was thinking this could have just been thrown out of a car, or someone dropped it while they were jogging. So these are the other thoughts he had when he found the phone. And that's the end of the article. So what I'll do now is I'll read the article from start to finish, and this time you can focus on my pronunciation. Let's do that now. iPhone found in perfect condition after plummeting 16,000 feet from plane. An Alaska Airlines flight had to make an emergency landing Friday after part of the fuselage blew out, sucking several items out of the main cabin. Well, Apple's marketing team is going to have a field day with this one. On Friday, Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 was traveling from Oregon to California when it had to make an emergency landing after a door plug suddenly ripped off, causing part of the fuselage to blow out and creating a large gaping hole in the main cabin. The incident occurred shortly after takeoff and no one was seriously hurt, but several items, including a child's shirt that he was wearing, were sucked out of the Boeing aircraft. Another item that flew from the plane and plunged 16,000 feet was a new generation iPhone that was found in pretty stellar condition on an Oregon roadside, according to a social media user, Sean Bates, who said he discovered the device. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, Bates published a photo of the smartphone, which lacked any scratches or cracks. The screen was also conveniently unlocked, though it's unclear why, and showed an emailed Alaska Airlines baggage receipt for a flight from Oregon to California that was sent Thursday. Bates also published a TikTok about his discovery, in which he says he wanted an excuse to go on a walk when he heard a report about Flight 1282, which included a request for area residents to alert the National Transportation Safety Board if any items from the flight were found. I was, of course, a little skeptical at first, Bates says in his video about how he felt upon finding the phone. I was thinking this could have just been thrown out of a car or someone dropped it while they were jogging.
So, did you like this lesson? Do you want me to make more lessons just like this? If you do, then put more news in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And remember, Pace AI is giving you a free 7-day trial. I know you'll love using Pace AI because it will help you become fluent fast. You can click right here to start your free 7-day trial, or you can look in the description for the link.